All right, everybody, welcome back. We are diving into the wild world of car financing today.
Yeah.
And, I think for a lot of people, this is a pretty daunting aspect of buying a car,
Yeah. It can be pretty intimidating.
especially when we're talking about pre-owned vehicles. You know,
Sure.
there's a lot to consider. So, we're really going to break this down today and try to make it as simple and straightforward as possible. We've got some really good information from Karma Automotive Group. They've got a blog post that really dives into the different options out there.
Right.
And I think they've done a really good job of outlining the pros and cons of each. We're going to be talking about bank loans and dealership financing, credit unions. We'll even touch on lease-to-own programs. So, yeah, let's just jump right in. What is car financing exactly, for someone who's never done this before?
Well, when you think about buying a car, most people don't have like tens of thousands of dollars just sitting around ready to go.
Right.
So car financing is essentially just a way of spreading that cost out over time.
Right.
So instead of paying one huge lump sum, you're making smaller payments over a longer period.
Makes it more manageable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where it becomes super important to understand like interest rates and loan terms.
Yep.
Because those can really impact your monthly budget.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's easy to get excited about finding the perfect car
Oh, absolutely.
and then forget about the long term, Like, what's this actually going to cost me every month?
Right.
So, okay, let's say we found the car. We're ready to start talking financing.
All right.
What about bank loans? What do we need to know about those?
So bank loans are kind of like the classic option, right?
Right.
And they typically offer two types of interest rates, fixed and variable.
Yeah.
With a fixed rate, your monthly payment stays the same for the entire loan term.
Okay.
So that's great for budgeting because you know exactly what to expect each month.
So it's predictable.
Exactly. Variable rates, on the other hand, can fluctuate.
Oh.
They go up and down with the market. So that can be good or bad. Like if interest rates drop, you could save money. But if they go up, your payments go up too.
Oh, so there's a bit of risk involved.
Yeah, exactly.
So if I have like a really good credit score and a good financial history, does that help me at all?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Lenders love to see responsible borrowers.
Oh.
So if you've got a history of paying your bills on time, that can often translate into a lower interest rate.
Well, that's good to know. So it pays to be responsible.
It definitely does.
Okay, but what if you know your credit's not perfect
Yeah.
or you're just starting to build it? What are the options then?
Well, that's where dealership financing can come in handy.
Okay.
It's really convenient because you can handle everything right there at the dealership.
Right.
But I've heard some people end up with higher interest rates that way. Is that true?
Well, it's true that dealership financing might not always have the absolute lowest rates compared to other options,
Okay.
but they often make up for it with flexible terms. They might be more willing to work with you on a lower down payment or a longer loan term.
Okay. So that can make your monthly payments more manageable.
So it's really about weighing the pros and cons.
Exactly. Like sometimes the convenience and flexibility outweigh a slightly higher rate.
Right.
And don't forget, dealerships often have promotions too, where you can snag a lower interest rate if you finance through them.
Okay, so you really got to shop around and compare.
Absolutely. Always compare offers before you make a decision.
All right, so we've talked about banks and dealerships. What about credit unions?
Credit unions are kind of cool.
Okay.
They're these community-based financial institutions.
Okay.
And they often offer some of the most competitive interest rates out there.
Really?
Yeah. Sometimes they even beat traditional banks. And what I really like about them is their focus on personal service. They really get to know their members.
Oh, nice.
And they try to go the extra mile to help them find the best financial solutions.
That sounds less intimidating for a first-time car buyer.
It definitely can be.
Okay, so maybe if you're feeling a little overwhelmed by the whole process, a credit union might be a good place to start.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, and then we have these lease-to-own programs. What are those all about?
So lease to own is kind of like a long-term rental,
Okay,
but with the option to buy the car at the end.
okay.
So you make monthly payments, just like a regular lease, but at the end of the lease term, you have the choice to purchase the car.
Gotcha.
And the big advantage here is that your initial monthly payments are usually lower than a traditional loan.
Okay.
But you got to be careful to understand all the terms, like what's the buyout price going to be,
Right.
and make sure you factor in the total cost over time.
So it's not necessarily cheaper overall,
Yeah.
but it could be a good option for some people.
Yeah, like if you like to change cars frequently or you're not ready to commit to a long-term loan.
Makes sense. So before we wrap up, any big takeaways from Karma Automotive Group?
Well, they really emphasize the importance of knowing your budget, checking your credit score, comparing offers, and most importantly, asking questions.
Yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to something as big as financing a car.
Right.
Speaking of questions, how cool is Karma's intelligent voice AI Danny?
Oh, Danny is amazing.
Right.
Available 24/7 to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah. You can ask about trade-ins, credit approvals, anything.
It's super convenient.
So let's say we've done our research, we've crunched the numbers, we know our options.
Right.
What's the next step?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Now it's time to think about how each financing option aligns with your personal values and preferences.
Oh, okay.
Like, do you value the convenience of dealership financing, even if it means a slightly higher rate?
Okay.
Or maybe you really connect with the community focus of a credit union.
Yeah.
Or maybe the flexibility of a lease-to-own program just fits your lifestyle better.
I love that. So it's not just about the numbers, it's about finding what feels right for you.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I think we've officially demystified car financing
I hope so.
and given our listeners the tools they need to make informed decisions.
For sure.
You're in the driver's seat.
Literally and figuratively.
All right, everyone. Thanks for tuning in.
See you next time.